Living in Florida is nothing like what you expected. Getting after that next. Hey everybody, my name's Craig Cunha. I'm a real estate agent here in Southwest Florida, and if you're looking for a channel to tell you a little bit more about what it's like to live, play, eat, sleep, and buy real estate on the Gulf Coast, this is the channel for you. Go ahead and subscribe, hit the little bell, make sure you're notified every time, and to get a head start, go to ournextfloridahome.com and get yourself signed up to be onto the MLS so you can search for homes in the best way possible. It's going to be the most accurate and get you that information that you want. I'm getting calls from people every day, and I love it. And one of the things that they are calling me about is find out, what is it I need to know truly when I come to Florida? Well, if you've got specific questions you need answers to, you've got to call, text, or email, because I've got your back when moving to the Gulf Coast. Okay, so living in Florida isn't really all you expect it to be, because let's face it, man, most people think you're coming to Florida to party all the time. You're living in a vacation spot. You're going to have everything made. Well, the first thing I'm going to talk about kind of goes along that thread. Waterfront dining is a huge thing that we do here. But what's interesting is how you have to do it sometimes. In future weeks, I'm going to be talking about some of our waterfront dining that you get to by boat, because some places you can only get to by boat. Then we have a new resort coming in. I've mentioned it in recent weeks, the Sunseeker Resort in Port Charlotte. Well, guess what? They're now looking for permission for people to be able to fly in on seaplanes to come to this resort. Things are getting real here. We're finding ways to bring people in and out of this place as efficiently as possible. So if you're not going to drive there and you're not going to boat there, maybe now you can fly there. If you're not going to one of these waterfront dining spots by boat or by plane, you've got to keep one thing in mind, especially in season, especially on holidays. And if it's not those two, it's going to be weekends, especially gorgeous weekends as we head into our warmer months. Any of our islands where most of our beaches are, you have to cross a bridge. Most of these bridges are single lane in and out. So one of the problems that you're going to run into is traffic, and lots of it. So these areas get backed up so far that you could be sitting in line for reasonably 30 minutes, 45 minutes in some cases. In fact, somebody posted today that they were sitting down there waiting to get over onto Fort Myers Beach for a very long time. And the bigger problem for them was once they got across, where the hell am I going to park? Because parking is at a premium. Now, there are a lot of spots being added down on Fort Myers Beach in particular. Obviously, with the Margaritaville going in down there, there's going to be a parking garage. But again, Margaritaville is only going to encourage more traffic. That's just one spot. We've been to Englewood Beach. We've been to Siesta Key. We've been to St. Pete Beach. All these places have those bridges, and every one of them backs up the same way. So my tip to you, either go during the week or get a very early start to get up and over that bridge before everybody else starts going. Now, you know about our horrible drivers. I might be labeled one of them, but hey, there's reasons behind all of this. I can't tell you how many people in the course of a day ride that damn left lane. You got 3 lanes and you choose to ride the fast one, the one all the way left, and you're not even going anywhere. You end up merging back over further on down the road because that's where your true intent was. I don't know if you're doing that just to get people's goat, but it's working. So please stay in your lane. Go where you're supposed to go. Free up the lanes. I had 2 or 3 people today actually move out of the way and let me pass. You know what I did? I was quick to wave them, say, hey, thank you. I appreciate you for noticing and for moving yourself, because you weren't trying to get somewhere as fast as I was. So thank you for that. But this horrible driver part, that's the one part everybody has experienced here if they've driven here for any amount of time. But the other one is, you may think you know how to drive in snow, but you don't know how to drive in rain. And that was evidenced just a couple weeks ago when we had a rainstorm come through ahead of one of these fronts, and there were accidents all morning long. The news couldn't stop talking about it. I'm going to say there's every 5 minutes a new one would pop up. So at any given time, we had a half dozen or so crashes that were going on, and some of them major enough to shut down the roadway. So if you don't know how to drive in snow and you don't know how to drive in rain, why don't you stay home? That'd be a good thing. It'll dry up quicker than you think it will. So until it stops and it's over, let the people that can drive in it and avoid these kinds of problems. Now, some recent talk is, obviously with all this rain, it just leads me into the next thing. They're talking about this sea level rise constantly. And again, everything's fear-based. If it's not COVID, it's something else. And if it's not the whole mask mandates and vaccines and this and that, it's this. Now the floodplains or the rising sea levels. So in 30 years, Now, again, 30. I'm 53, so in 30 years, I don't know if I'm going to be here. I'm going to probably guess maybe not. But my point is that the sea level is supposed to rise a foot. One foot. And they're making a big deal about it right now. Oh no, the sea level is going to rise a foot by 2050. Maybe you don't want to buy in a place that is close to the water. I don't know about that, because those 30 years, I'd rather live somewhere close to the water and enjoy that lifestyle than worry about what's going to happen 30 years from now. So if you're one of those people that are into all this fear-based stuff, please stay away if that 1 foot's going to scare you in 30 years. But otherwise, come enjoy what the state has to offer, what these beaches have to offer. That's why I'm here. Now, I was informed today, somebody was very close to the engineers and the groups that are going to be working on the Seven Islands project out on the west side of Cape Coral, that Avalon Engineering has won the bid to work on this project, and it's been slated so far that it's going to start somewhere around the 2024 timeframe. So we're still a bit of a ways off from that happening, but at least wheels are in motion, because as you know, some of these projects that are talked about never really get going. So this is a very good sign that Seven Islands project is going to be something we're going to have in the future. I'm not going to say near future, but definitely in the future. Okay, I'm going to talk about this homeowners insurance thing once and for all. I found out a couple things this week as to why this is so bad. I gave you a little tidbit of it a couple weeks ago, but with the insurance, many insurance companies are starting to pull out of the state. And there's a few reasons for it. It's not even the actual insurance coverage. It's the litigation behind it. So here's what's happening. And my mom was kind of involved in something like this recently, where you have a roofer come out and assess the roof to find out what the condition is, especially after one of these windstorms or the tornadoes coming through, anything that could be seen as a way of damaging your roof. So what happens? You bring a roofer out, they assess it, the insurance turns it down. What happens? The roofer says, don't worry about it, I'll take care of this. They file a suit against the insurance company. They charge double of the actual job's price, and they end up winning because the insurance companies don't want to spend even more money fighting these people to do so. So what's happening? Insurance companies are getting the hell out. They're like, enough. If we're going to be taken advantage of like this, and we're losing most of our money through litigation, it's not even the actual insurance coverages, then we're done. We're getting out of Florida. So do us all a favor. If your roof is just plain old, don't pull this scam on them, because it's going to come back and bite all of us. If it's time for you to change your roof and time for you to pony up, hey man, time to pony up. Now everybody wants to talk about the market and how it's going and what's really going on out there. There's a bubble and all this other stuff. So I'm going to hit this real quick on the market update. There's 70% equity in our homes throughout the country. 70%. Now this is the highest since 1960s. So if we have that many homes that are in positive equity, I can pretty much guarantee that we're not going to have a bubble bursting. Now, are prices going to slow down and plateau? That's another thing we don't know, because if you look at these charts, you're going to see that the population far outweighs the amount of homes that are available for them. And we're getting the youngest generation that's now coming into the point of being able to buy homes, or not the youngest generation, but one of the largest generations in history that's coming into the home buying age. They're going to want a home. We're already short by many, many homes. And here's an example. We're supposed to build 1.3 million homes per year to be able to satisfy this desire for people to buy homes. And we're falling short by 310,000 per year for the last 11 years. So basically, we're 3.4 million homes behind on being able to supply to the need. So what does that mean? We're short, we're short, we're short. That means you're not going to get a home if you don't get off the fence and on the field and get moving on this, because there's just not enough of it. To make matters worse, I've got a buddy. He's in the property management business, and he works for a large corporation. This large corporation just picked up another 4,500 homes today. Yes, 4,500 today. What does that mean? Those are going to be rental homes. What does that mean to you if you don't own a home? That may be your home in the future, but you're going to be renting it. That's what's happening around this country of ours, is that we have these large corporations buying up these homes, taking them off the market for people that really need them. Builders can't keep up. The supplies. I met with our builder today with one of my clients, and he's just talking about all the shortages and not knowing how long something's truly going to take. It's at least a year, maybe a year and a half to get a house built. And that's because of the delays with all the government agencies and with all the supply demands that you have, and having to order things so far in advance to not even know when you're getting the darn thing. We're talking in some cases being told a year to get your trusses. A year to get trusses. I mean, this is not possible, but it is happening. And if you're one of the smaller builders, or if you're working through one of the smaller builders, you could have an even tougher time, because now they're going to cater to those guys that they know are going to keep coming back over and over and over for these supplies. They're going to get fed first. That's why the big guys generally get the most of these supplies. So if you're somebody that is going through a smaller builder, make sure that you have this stuff on paper as to what that timeline is going to be and what kind of penalties you're going to be associated with not finishing on time. Because you know what? You'd be penalized if you weren't meeting their demands. So make sure you put your own demands in place, or make sure your agent puts the demands in place. That's what they're there for, to represent you. You can take an agent to a builder. The builder pays for the agent. You don't pay for it. You might indirectly pay for it, but guess what? It's already in the price. So you might as well use them, have representation, have somebody fighting for you, and getting these kinds of things on paper so that you're not burned later. Now, with these offers, when you're putting it in, if you're talking to your agent, you've got to make sure that you go in strong up front. Don't hem and haw. Don't think that you have another shot at this. Yeah, they say highest and best, but you know what? I've been through this so many times where you're told one thing and it changes the next day. Here's a particular case in point. We had an opportunity to get a home for, I think this might have been Kirk. We had an opportunity to get a home, and the selling agent said, hey, we're making a decision by Friday. Give us your highest and best. Well, anybody that works with me knows that I don't do highest and best. There's a better way to do it. If you want to know, talk to me. I'd be happy to explain it. Anyway, we're going to go in as strong as possible, right? That was our setup for this. The next day, I find out it goes pending, and the agent says, yeah, we made a decision early. Well, thanks for waiting and telling us that we had more time. That's the kind of stuff that happens in this market. It's all going to be based on the individual agent and how they work, so you can't necessarily trust everyone. Do your best to set your best offer up front, get to your highest price, or get to your increases properly, and we can talk about that later, and put the most money down that you're comfortable with in escrow, have the shortest inspection times and the shortest closing times as possible, and give yourself the best shot at winning that house, if that's what you truly want. Now, Trent is one of my clients that we finally have a home for him. Good. Congratulations, Trent. I know that's been a long road for you, but we've got you in there, so everything should be smooth sailing from here. But Trent had an interesting question for me, and this is something that I think a lot of people have tried this, and it's been successful for some people. And there might be some agents out there that think that's an amazing thing to do, which is write a letter to the homeowner. If you're going to ask me, in my opinion, that sounds like manipulation. Because if I'm going to write my sob story on a piece of paper so that I can get you to have a different emotion towards me and deciding on my offer, I don't know about you, but the dictionary would say that's manipulation, and I don't work that way. I'm going to give you the best offer I can. I'm going to find out what we need to do to make your seller happy and give them the best situation, and then we're going to just throw our hat in the ring and see what happens. But writing a letter to try and manipulate somebody, don't even ask me, because my answer is no. Now, when you get a referral, or when you give a referral to another agent, here's something that's different about working with me. I get calls all the time from people all over the country, and they want to look at different areas of Florida. Obviously, I can't be an expert in every area of Florida. So I have people that I work with in other areas. So if you came to me and said, hey, Craig, I'm looking in the Orlando area, what am I going to tell you? Hey, I don't work there, but I have people that do. Here's the best thing for you, though. Because I'm licensed in the state of Florida, I still have the knowledge base that is needed for these transactions. And you now not only get one solid agent, you get two. I'm working there with this other agent to get your deal done. So don't feel like once you're put with another agent in another area that you lose me. I'm still there. You can ask me as many questions as you want. And that is the purpose of hiring an agent that's working for you and it's on your side. He doesn't go away. He stays there, or she stays there through the end. Now, I'm going to share the story about Jay and Jackie. Jay and Jackie are two clients that have been an absolute joy to work with, and we've had some challenges through some of their processes, but this last one is kind of an example to all those other people out there who might be going through this challenge of putting through an offer and getting accepted and being able to move through the process. Because even if you do everything right, you still may not get it. And we were really close to that happening. So what happened is we had a home that we were looking at. We tried to go a little short on the price because it was a large ticket item on this particular home. And the buyer said, no, thank you. Or he wanted to take, I think, 48 hours to decide. Nothing in this market. I'm telling you right now, if they tell you they want 48 hours, you might as well start looking for something else because there's something wrong in the scenario. Well, we figured out we're going to just take advantage of this situation. Next morning, we give a full price offer, but he doesn't take it. He wants to think about it. So we're trying to find out what in the heck is going on. Is this seller's remorse? You put the home on the market because you wanted to sell it, right? Or were you just testing us? You're just seeing if you could get your number. Well, we figured out why it was happening, and it had there's a lot of other things involved, like tax implications and things like that. But the point is that we got through this particular seller's remorse and got under contract. So we moved forward into this. So I know Jay and Jackie are so ecstatic about the home. It's exactly what they wanted location-wise and everything. But I'm going to show you some of the pictures within this home, and I'll tell you what made them decide on this home. I'd like to know what would be your favorite spot, because some of these spots in this home were amazing. The kitchen was awesome. The dock area, the outdoor pool area, even the location to the things around it, the entertainment area with the game room and the televisions, the viewing area. This home had some awesome features. And again, comment down below which one would be your favorite based upon the pictures you saw. But I'll tell you, Jay and Jackie, hands down, both of them, was the outdoor pool area. This thing is set up gorgeous. It has TVs out there, multiple sitting areas. It has heat lamps. So in these cooler temperatures we get, the heat lamps. There are these gas, or propane in this case, propane torches that are on either side of the pool. The grill is also on propane that's piped in from a tank on the side of the house. Large dining area. Beautiful pool and spa overlooking the canal. I mean, seriously, what else could you ask for? That was their favorite. I can see why. But overall, this home was absolutely gorgeous. And thankfully, that seller went through and got us into this deal and is pushing us forward. I'll update you as we get towards the end of this. But Jay and Jackie, congratulations. Oh, and thank you for the shot of showing me in action, always having my camera out so that I can share this stuff with all of you. Now, as you know, I'm always trying to find things to share with you that I find unique and different. And on this particular house, this is still Jay and Jackie's house, there is an autofill for the pool. Now, many times you'll see if you go around to the homes here, there's hoses that are hanging over into the side of the pool or wrapped up over on the corner of the house. No, this pool had an autofill feature, kind of like how when you flush the toilet, the little bobber goes down and it'll fill until that hits a certain level. This does the same thing. So if your pool level's low, it's going to autofill until that plunger hits a certain level and then stop. No need for hoses, don't need to drag anything anywhere. It's done for you. Now, another thing that we found in this home, going through the inspection, and I go through to a lot of these inspections because my inspector is absolutely awesome. Rory, I ask you every time for a reason. It's because you know your stuff and you're teaching me all the time. So we had a drain that was going down very slowly in the guest bathroom, and he looked underneath the sink and quickly assessed what was going on. There's something called, and I might not pronounce this right, but a stutter vent. And it's a piece of the pipe that comes up above the actual drain line, and it vents out the air, allows the water to move quicker through the pipes. So that's the fix for a slow draining sink. And Rory, thanks again for the insights that I could share it with all these people. Now, what's really cool about some of our newer homes, there are these PEX lines, and that's the blue and red lines. Obviously, red is for hot, blue is for cold. But what's neat about this system is that you have a full shut-off panel in your garage. There's a little key at the very top, and if anything is going sideways in any of your connections in the bathrooms or in the kitchen or wherever it may be, you can come out to the garage and do the shut-off right there. So if you broke a valve or something in the bathroom, it's not your last chance. You don't have to shut off all the water to the entire house with the main on the side of the house. You just go and twist this valve in the garage. Problem solved. I have another client that's looking at new home in an area that has well and septic. Well, the one thing with well water is that it can be very harsh. Now, it's not just the smells and the taste that is the problem. It's the corrosiveness on the fixtures within a house. And there are some builders that will not warranty their product if you do not get a whole house reverse osmosis on the house. because everything will be trashed. Now, whole house reverse osmosis, it is a very big, elaborate looking system, but this is how you're going to clean your water to a point. And this is my builder's words. My water is better than what the city gives you because this system does that good of a job. He also shared with me that our wells are drilled about 150 feet deep, at least when he's involved. So you can do it right, or you can take the shortcut. There's some builders out there that might only go 70, 80 feet. You're going to run into all kinds of problems. You're going to get all the crap that comes up to the top. You got to get down into this aquifer, get the good water out, or as good as you can, then run it through this whole house reverse osmosis to make it the best quality that you can get for your house. I have some good news. I have a client, Jeff, Nadia. You guys, I love what happened here. Everybody these days is so afraid of appraisals and what's going to happen. And are we ever going to hit? And what's going on with this? Well, you know what? Jeff and Nadia, they truly lucked out. They ended up getting, 17,000, I think, over on their appraisal. And they were in a higher price bracket, so this was a huge relief, thinking that we would come in short and maybe have to cover. Well, there's no covering. We're coming in with equity. So that's a lesson for everybody. Don't just assume we're not going to hit it, because sometimes these appraisers surprise you and you get more value than you thought. One thing you need to know about the process of purchasing the home here, your contract is very specific to one thing that can burn you completely. And if your agent's not watching, and I've been guilty of this too, so I'm not saying these are other agents, you just have to pay a lot of attention to this one tiny detail, because if you miss on this, you could lose the house. The timing of everything right now in this market is so important and instrumental in getting it completed. And then within the first 3 days, you could lose the house. You want to know how? You have a 3-day timeline, unless it's written in otherwise, to get your escrow deposit into the title company. Now, it's not necessarily as simple as it used to be. In this case, many people are wiring funds. You may not be able to wire funds with certain times of day or certain days of the week. So if you think you're going to wire your funds in the last day and it's a Saturday, you're not doing it. Now, good thing that these timelines and these deadlines can't end on a weekend or a holiday, so it will roll to the next business day. But don't wait till the last day. As soon as you get the instructions, which the day you get the signed contract done and your agent says it's your house, you should have a copy of that contract in your email. And on the first page of that contract, it's going to tell you the title company and it's going to give the phone number. Call that title company right then, get wiring instructions, get that to your bank and get that started. The sooner you get that done, the more secure that your contract's going to be, because if you miss on that, you could default on the contract and they can give it to somebody else. Now, Brad and Joanne are two of my investors that I work with, and they share a lot of their stories with me as well. And they have two homes of very similar age. These are relatively new homes that they buy. They are doing it, again, as investments. So these are they're all rentals. So numbers are so important to them. And they shared with me that this past week, they were getting two homes set up with insurances. And one was $1,350 and the other one was $900. And you say to yourself, wait a second, they're the same size home. They're both the relatively same age in similar areas. Why in the heck would there be so much of a difference? Here it is. One had gable roof, another had a hip roof. So a hip roof is the one with the straight roof line. Okay? The gable has the points, kind of like a chalet. Well, that gable is thought to allow for wind to get underneath it during a storm or something like that could potentially take it off. So they do not give you the same credits for your insurance, and you end up paying more. Now, it's not something you might think about on the front side, but if your roof is more than 10% gables, you don't get the discount. So look for homes that have the hip roof if you're that concerned about insurances, or if that's just one more facet of your considerations for buying a particular home. Check out the gables, check out the hips, you'll know exactly where you're going to go. Okay, so living in Florida, it's nothing like you expected. And if you are looking for more information about what it's like to move here or live here, check out one of these other videos. And if you've got a specific question for me, you've got to call, text, or email, because I've got your back when moving to the Gulf Coast.